Greetings and thank you for joining us for the seventh episode of the Young Justice review on DC Animation with Spenser and Friends. This is an LMG Podcast Production. Today, I'm joined by a dear friend.
Hello, everyone. Cassidy.
Yes, Cassidy's joining us today. And, you know, just a little behind the scenes, we struggled to get this episode started. Um, we're gonna cut out all that so you will never know what happened, but just know that,
Process
yeesh.
to get here.
We're good though.
Yes,
So, Cassidy, I appreciate you
of
for joining us on this journey through DC
course.
animation.
Happy to be here.
Today, we will be reviewing season 1, episodes 13 and 14. So, we're going to start with episode 13, Alpha Male. We open in northern India, where some men are hunting tigers. Unfortunately for them, they run into a gorilla with a gat. Over at the cave, the League is helping rebuild after all of the red android mess, and Superboy overhears Calder tell Batman about the mole. The team is furious, and Batman sends them on a mission to India. Upon arrival, everyone angrily splits up, and they are all attacked by animals on PEDs and control collars. Calder figures out that removing the collars fixes the problem, and Captain Marvel gives him some advice about being in charge. Captain Marvel gets captured, and Miss Martian links everybody up. They are all still pissed at Calder, and they're really talking that shit, but Calder lets them know that he is the HNIC, and he shuts that shit the fuck down because we got work to do. Captain Marvel is being prepped for surgery by the Brain, and the squad moves to rescue him. With the help of some of the collared animals, they are able to save Captain Marvel, but the Brain ninja smokes away. Robin actually asks Aqualad for his side of the story, and after he explains himself, everybody's cool again. Superboy keeps Wolf, and Captain Marvel tells his uncle how his day went, and then he goes to bed. And that's the episode. So, before we jump into this, I have a question for you because I just kind of wonder where you are on this. So, Captain Marvel,
Yeah.
what do you know him as?
Well, first of all, they said Captain Marvel, and I was like, wait, what am I watching? I only know of one Captain Marvel vaguely, and that belongs in Marvel, not
Hmm.
DC. And it wasn't until the end of this episode that I was like, oh, Shazam. But I've never seen any of Shazam, so I had no context of if that was his name in that. Or I only this year even found out the kids part of the whole Shazam thing too. So I've been very disconnected about Captain Marvel in DC.
Okay. So, a very, very brief history lesson. I'm not going to go into it very much, but I'll keep it pretty tight. So, his name was Captain Marvel, and he belonged to Fawcett Comics way back in the day. Fawcett Comics and DC had some issues because, there was some legal issues on like he's too close to Superman, and then Fawcett ends up getting acquired by DC. And then there was more legal mess over the name because he had been Captain Marvel this whole time, but Marvel also has a Captain Marvel. I think that eventually DC acquiesced and they just changed his name to Shazam because Shazam is actually the name of the wizard that transforms him.
Okay.
But his name has been changed to Shazam uh recently. Like
Very recently, because
very
this
recently.
isn't that old of a thing.
Yeah.
So what came first, this Captain Marvel or Marvel the
So this Captain Marvel was created first
mm,
because the Captain Marvel in Marvel, the first one, his name was Marvel. He was a Kree, and then there was Miss Marvel, who eventually becomes Captain Marvel. And so there's been a
hmm
lot of rewriting of all the things.
hmm
But yeah, this Captain Marvel was first.
Okay.
But Marvel and DC have been going through this, legal battle for a good while, and I think that DC was like, you know what? Take it.
Whatever. We'll
Yeah.
just, yeah, okay.
So yeah, if you see anything before, I'm gonna shoot in the dark and just say like 2016, it's gonna be Captain Marvel, and then they change his name to Shazam. Uh, like officially around then. Don't quote the when it happened,
Kind
but
of with the push of the live action.
I mean,
I say that I haven't even watched that one, so I don't know what his name is in that.
it's Shazam. Like
Okay.
by then he is
He
Shazam.
was Shazam.
Yeah, because Marvel had already, yeah, like Captain Marvel was in the MCU and at that point, yeah. So
Okay.
it's and she's had several names too. Like I said, she was Miss Marvel for a while. She's gone, I want to say Binary was her name at one point. Like yeah, like it's comic books are stupid. But yeah. So his name was Captain Marvel until like it only hasn't been for the last like decade maybe.
Okay. I see. But yeah,
Um
that's my poor I had no clue who this was until the very end, and
yeah,
he
until he said the
Shazam.
word Shazam and you
Until
were
he
like,
said the word Shazam, and because like even then, like I'm lucky I even knew about the kid thing
hmm
recently. The Shazam thing would have helped me a little bit, but I probably would have been like, "What the was this?" But I had no clue who it was up until that point. But then it like all clicked together. So I was like, he was acting a little
Yeah. That's
kiddish.
what, like when you know, you're like, all of this tracks. And
Yeah,
then whenever you find out, you're like, that explains why he just
so
went
much.
and chased a tiger. And
Yeah, but I watched the episode again a second time, and it all was just like, yeah, this kid.
yeah. So, let's talk through the episode a little bit. And if we get back to that, then we will. Because
Okay.
I left his name as Captain Marvel in my synopsis because that is his name in this show.
Okay.
So, yeah. But again, the show is from before he lost his name.
Okay.
So, they're in India, and we see basically some poachers. Like they're giving poacher vibes, and they're hunting big game. I think that's what they called it. And then, oh no, they're attacked by a gorilla with a fucking Gatling gun. That's not good.
I was like, oh no, guerrilla warfare.
Yeah. Oh God, that's great. I'm glad. I'm glad that crossed your mind. So then we're taken back to the cave, and everybody's helping rebuild because, the androids created quite a mess. It was an
Yes.
issue. And Calder is kind of, giving Batman some background on the situation.
Can we
And
pause 2 seconds
okay.
before Keldor even does that? My favorite little moment was Martian Manhunter petting the sentient robot thingy
Oh, the sphere?
sphere. Yeah, he just turns and he just pats it and he looks so happy petting it, and then he goes back to serious rebuilding mode. And I was like, it was just such a cute little admin.
I agree. I liked it. It was
But
a
now we
nice
can
moment.
talk about serious calibers.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah. Back to it.
Soros.
So, Calder's telling Batman the whole situation, and of course, eavesdropping. And he almost attacks Calder,
Yes. In true
but
Connor fashion.
that's because he's living on the emotion of McGann almost died. Not that everybody else almost died,
Meg.
specifically because McGann almost died. And so the team is pissed
Yes.
for obvious reasons, but they don't let him explain himself. They're just mad. And Batman is like, yeah, shut up. I got some shit for y'all to do. And so they get sent to India and they're mad about that. They're like, oh, is this supposed to distract us from the. And I understand why they are as mad as they are. The thing is, we know everything. So
Right.
we're like, hey, how about y'all shut the fuck up? Because we're Team Calder.
Yes.
However, they're looking at it as the whole, like, we have trauma behind being kept in the dark and secrets being kept from us. Like that is very specific to how this whole thing happened, and we all like, how could you keep this from us knowing the history there?
Right.
So I understand why they're pissed, but I'm Team Calder. But I
I
also know
like
everything.
I know everything. I get their irritation, but also I don't know. This comes stems from knowing everything. My thought is, well, we put him in charge. Let's just ask him why he did
Let's
instead of
just say.
just immediately just being upset. We can stay upset, but let's talk about it.
But what I think that that was really good writing because we're dealing with teenagers.
Yeah.
And so it takes them a while to be like, so let's actually have a conversation.
Conversation. Right.
And I was like, that's, yeah, because let me just, I know that this shouldn't have bothered me, but I was like, Artemis, you can shut the fuck up. Like,
Yeah.
Wally being mad, Robin being mad, Superboy being mad, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Artemis, though,
Mm-mm.
shut your mouth.
She's just meant to be mad.
She just wants to be mad.
Yep.
Like, and again, yes, everybody should feel betrayed or, whatever, but like, when Artemis was talking, I was like, I really just wish you would shut the fuck up because you're not, you were the mole for all I knew.
Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
you got
You
here.
still could be a secondary mole,
Baby
honestly.
girl, you've been here for 30 minutes. You shut your mouth.
Shh, 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 shh.
Everybody else being mad, I understand. I understand why Wally and Robin are mad because they've been my dogs for this whole
Mm-hmm.
time. Superboy is only an hour old. Like, he has only
But
been
he's
alive.
known Calder his whole
He
life.
has known Calder his whole life. You're right.
So he's got that.
And Superboy's mad because of McGann and
Mhm.
only McGann. I think that's what he like the whole betrayal. I don't think he's super worried about that.
No,
He's mad
he's
because
mad about the
McGann
girl.
almost died.
Yeah.
And McGann is fine.
Yeah.
She's like, I trust that man. And so the reason she's mad is because of how Superboy's treating her.
So overprotective.
Yeah. Which,
I
I that's another thing. I'm like, I get it.
I
And then whenever Artemis was mad about that too, I'm like, Artemis,
yeah, when I rewatched that, I was like, okay, I get Meg being upset here because he is being a bit much. And if she says she's fine, she's fine. But then Artemis just kind of egging it on. I'm like, girl, you are not helping your case at any capacity for me this episode. If you would just
you were
stop.
also saying, I wish you would shut the fuck up.
Yes.
So yeah, that's where I was. And I have the luxury of knowing everything. I have the
Hmm.
luxury of seeing it from the outside. But yeah, I was like, Artemis, you can stop talking
Yes.
because how dare you?
How dare
Everybody else having their feelings makes sense. And honestly, Artemis feeling like it does make sense. But because of what I know, you can shut the fuck up, Artemis.
you?
So they arrive in India, and Aqualad, he's trying to, get it together, and everybody just like splits off and does their own thing. And that's annoying again from my perspective, but I'm like, it's good writing because
Hmm.
yeah, like that's probably how that would go.
Hmm.
But yeah, and Captain Marvel is, assigned to them. And they're all like, "Oh, it's because they don't trust us, so we have to have a babysitter." And I mean, eh, probably.
Yeah.
But whatever. Captain Marvel's having a great time.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
vibing.
He's having such a good time. Again, I say this in hindsight of watching the episode a second time, but I was just like, oh, he's just really enjoying his time with these guys.
Yeah, he is vibing. He's happy to
Oh,
be here.
best day ever.
So everybody splits up and then they all start just getting attacked by these uh blockbustered animals. Like these
Just,
animals are on the PEDs. Like you can
yeah.
see, their skin is like splitting open.
My least favorite way they draw things is the skin open. I don't want to see exposed muscles. And that's all this episode is exposed like oh.
and on animals. Like
Yeah, which is
it's one thing
another
for people, but
the animal thing. That was the whole thing. Even cartoonified, I hate watching animals in poor states of things, and I'm just like, oh, I can't do it.
yeah,
It was awful. Great job, artists. I
yes.
hated it.
And so Calder, he sees that they're wearing collars. He gets a collar off of them, and then once he gets a collar off one of the elephant just like goes and minds its business.
He's chill now.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, we just have to take the collars off, and
Hmm.
everything's fine." And it's like, well, we didn't establish a psychic link for you to tell everybody that. And he's like, yeah, everybody just left. And Captain Marvel's like, no,
Mm.
you let them leave. Like
Yes.
you kind of just
And
you kind
I
of
didn't
fumbled that.
I didn't like how which he has every right to be frustrated with the team as well. Again, everybody's got every right to be frustrated everywhere, I think, on this. But I don't like that he used the word when he was like, well, again, she failed to connect. And I was like, mm.
Yeah, yeah, she failed to
She's on your
establish
side the best
a
she can
psychic
be. Like
connection.
she's bro.
Yeah.
Let's rein ourselves in.
But again, that was a matter of him like because he was basically told that he needed to take responsibility.
Yes.
And so it makes sense that he didn't take responsibility for that.
Hmm.
And then Captain Marvel is like, no, you failed as a leader in that moment. He's like, let me just point you something out. So Batman, you see how he takes control?
Hmm.
He's like, yeah, he said one word and everybody shut their mouths. He's like, yeah. And Calder was
Exactly.
like, oh, Batman takes control of the situation.
Yes.
And so Calder was like, all right, I think I understand. I've got it. Thank you, Wisdom of Solomon. And I don't know if they said Wisdom of Solomon, but like that's one of the Shazam things. So
Oh, okay.
so Shazam is kind of connected to the Greco-Roman pantheon. And so each of the letters represents something. So S is the wisdom
Oh,
of Solomon, H is the strength of Hercules, A is uh
art.
the I don't think it's Artemis. I think it's
I'm just
The
throwing out
courage of Achilles. I want to say
Zeus.
Z is Zeus.
Okay.
Um, the other A
Atlas.
is maybe it may be
Maybe.
Atlas. Atlas, because I don't think it's Apollo and I don't think it's Artemis, so it may be Atlas. And then M, I want to say is Mercury, speed of Mercury, which is why it's Greco. I say Greek and Roman because
Yeah, because it
Zeus
those
is
are
Greek, but Mercury's Roman.
correct. Yes, yes.
So, and then Solomon is biblical.
Yeah.
So Hebrew, if you want to do that.
The
Yeah.
Greco.
So I'd say Greco-Roman. But yeah, I should have probably looked up what the other A was, but I want to say one of the A's is the courage of Achilles.
Okay.
I forget the other A, but I don't think it's Artemis, and I don't know. It doesn't matter.
No.
But and yeah, I think that was one of those like later additions. Like
Okay.
I don't know if that was a part of the OG origin.
They were like, but it'd be fun.
Yeah,
God.
because they did the same thing for Black Adam later. Like
Oh,
that
okay.
wasn't his thing, but later they were like, we're gonna give him the Egyptian gods. So
Oh,
they spun Egyptian, yeah. So they made it work retroactively.
okay.
But anyway, so um, Captain Marvel is like, hey, a tiger.
I related to him so much in that moment. I was like, I would get excited. I'd be like, oh my gosh. If I was that strong and knew it wouldn't hurt me, I'd be like, oh, cool. Look at
Yeah,
that.
yeah. He's just again, he's just living his best life.
Yes.
He really is just vibing. And so he goes to try to find this tiger, and then they use the same thing that they used to subdue the tiger earlier to subdue him. And he's basically like, why can't I move? And so, yeah, he gets captured. And Calder is able to talk to Miss Martian and says, hey, link us up. And why, like, as soon as they get linked up and Calder starts talking, they start talking that
The
shit.
sassing was killing me. I was living for it. I was like, yeah, guys, act like he's not there. You guys are ridiculous.
Yeah, they were calling him everything but a child of God.
Oh man.
And
Adam.
eventually he had to be like, everybody shut the fuck up.
And I loved that too.
I did too. Because that's how it needed to be.
That's how I want him to be. Exactly.
And I
Yes.
wondered how he was going to do it because he's generally very polite.
But he's commanding and
Yeah, like he's
present.
stern
So,
as needed.
yeah.
And so the way that he did it made sense to me. He said, you chose me as your leader. And if you don't want me to be your leader after this, we can talk about, I will step down.
Hmm.
But right now, I am the HNIC and we got shit to do.
Yes.
So let's get it done. And everybody got their
Yep.
game faces on like
Yep.
they needed to. Because I wanted somebody else to say something.
I would have loved for them to try.
I was like, Artemis, I want it to be you.
Oh,
Artemis, please say something.
I would have loved that.
Yep,
Mm.
same. I wanted to. I'm glad she didn't, but
I
ugh.
like it.
So we see that Captain Marvel is on a table
Yes.
and he's got a collar on and he's like, I can't move. And then we just hear a voice with a French accent tell
Oui,
him,
oui, Betty.
yeah,
I got you in my seat.
yeah. He basically says, I set the collar to paralyze you from the neck down because I want to hear your reactions. I want to know how you're feeling and what's going on in your head while
Hmm.
I'm in your head. And we see that it is the brain. I assume you are not familiar with the brain.
No, I thought it looked like a thing from Doctor Who. That's the only thing I don't know what the brain is.
Okay, it probably. I'm sure there are a lot of things that look like a little floating R2D2 style
It's
robot.
just like in Doctor Who there's a thing called a Dalek, an alien thing, and they're just like these little body things that are inside of a robot R2D2 situation. So like that was my only anything. I have no clue who this guy is, thing
Cool,
is.
and that is not a problem. Um,
Monsieur.
yeah, he's the leader of the Brotherhood of Evil. Usually
Oh.
he's a Teen Titans villain. He's been in the Teen Titans show. He's also, I want to say he was in Batman Brave and the Bold. But yeah, he was yeah. And then he's got his basically gorilla sidekick that
Hmm.
he trained
Also,
and
okay, so yeah, the gorilla is not controlled by anything. The gorilla is just gorillaing. Like that's
yeah, the gorilla's just a loyal sidekick.
okay.
Or like a loyal number two because he, raised this gorilla. And his whole thing is experimentation on animals. Like that's and like making them more intelligent, making them more fierce. Like
Mm.
that's his thing is experimenting on animals to enhance them. And so, yeah, his number two is a gorilla that he trained and all that.
Hmm. Okay.
So, yeah. Um so yeah, the squad is like, let's go rescue Captain Marvel. And they are able to get it done. I guess the tiger kind of just used the power of friendship to override the collar a little bit
Yeah.
because all the other animals had their collars removed, and that's And I also like the running "I hate monkeys" thing, uh, because he says it about any primate.
Yep.
Like again, he'll see a gorilla and be like, "I hate
I hate
monkeys,"
monkeys.
and I'm like, "Not a monkey, but okay." But I like that is continuing. Like I
Yes.
like the bits that this show it keeps going.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, they are able to uncollar some animals that are able to help them. Again, I guess the tiger power friendships its way through it because it's like not my friend Captain Marvel, not my new best friend.
Not my guy.
Yeah, and so they're able to save Captain Marvel, and then oh no, the brain is surrounded, and he like pulls out a bunch of fucking flashlights and then disappears.
Yep. Magic.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I say he ninja smokes away.
Yeah.
He does a Houdini and he's gone. And so they're all returning to the bioship, and Robin is like, "So I gotta know,
Hmm.
why didn't you tell us about the mole?" And everybody perks up because yeah, everybody wants to know, and I'm like, "Thank you, Robin, for finally asking this question."
And I love that it was Robin because, yeah, he's the baby of the group, but he's the Batman one.
Yeah,
And it
he's
makes the most sense that he's the one that's like, well, Batman wasn't mad, so let's just have a discussion.
yeah. Like I too like that it was Robin. Like
Yeah.
it should have been Robin because again, like they have the history and like Robin already has some jealousy with Calder and Batman and not
Right.
being the leader and like so yeah, it needed to be Robin.
Yes.
And so Calder's like, so two things. One, the mole hint came from Sportsmaster. So I don't even know if it was true. And it could have been to sow discord in this group. And he was like, "Oh, you mean like today?" Yeah.
Exactly.
Also, if it was true, I didn't want the mole to know that I knew that they were a mole.
Hmm.
And everybody was like, "God damn it, that makes sense."
Oh,
Everybody
maybe
in
he
favor
should
of,
be in
yeah,
charge.
everybody in favor of keeping Calder in charge. And when that happened, I had to pause it. And I was like, I wish I could look every single one of you in your eye right now and be like,
Hmm.
yeah,
That's what I thought.
yeah, shut up.
Hmm.
This man knows what he's doing. He was the obvious leader for obvious reasons.
Hmm.
So yeah, everybody, yeah, pick your face up off the ground. Especially you, Artemis.
Artemis.
Um, so yeah. And Captain Marvel, it looks like is gonna keep the tiger, and Superboy's gonna keep the wolf.
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you gonna name him? Why not name him Wolf?
I thought the moment between him and Miss Martian getting back onto the ship, though, and him being like, "What's wrong with Wolf?" Like, it was kind of cute. It's just like, why? I
Yeah, like
think it's a
was
good name.
yeah, because I think Wally was like, simple but
But it'll work.
effective.
Yeah.
I guess that works. That's fine. So, yeah. And then Captain Marvel, they're like, Captain, you're not coming back with us? No, I got some
Mm-mm.
shit to do.
Hmm.
And so he gets back home to his apartment, and there's just an old guy sitting there. It's like, "How was your day?" It's like, "Oh my God, it was so great. I got to hang out with the team, and they're
He's like, "You
so much
cool?"
more fun than hanging out with the league. And I met a tiger today." And just spilling his day like a kid.
Yep.
And then the uncle's like, "All right, brush your teeth."
Go to bed.
He's like, "Okay, fine." Shazam! He turns into Billy, and he's like, "All right, night night." And so, for anybody who didn't know the situation, I'm sure they were like, ah, like you
Mm,
were. Because, yeah,
yes,
when you review the episode, you're like, the way he was acting
the
tracks.
entire time.
Yeah. And so, if you watched this for the first time and you didn't know that that was the situation, I want you to go back and watch this episode, and then you'll be like, all of this makes sense.
Highly recommend the rewatch because just for, yeah, Captain Marvel, it is funny to be like, that's a child.
Yeah. And
100%.
I'm sure that he did have a much better time hanging out with some teenagers than he does hanging out with some people with mortgages and shit.
Yeah, teenagers are cool.
Yeah, especially to him. Yeah,
Yeah.
teenagers are cool. And even though they were fighting and like even though everything wasn't cool, he still had a great time.
Yep.
Like he still had more fun with them in their turbulence than with the league on good days.
Yep.
So, yeah. And so one of the things that is interesting.
Mm.
So, do you think the league knows about Billy?
I am not sure. There's things that make me think yes, but then again, no. And part of my no stems from episode 14.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
A
Okay,
moment there.
let's
So,
let's let's just wait until
okay.
then. We'll we'll
Okay.
we'll talk about it after then.
But that's where my no stands a bit stronger.
Okay, let's talk
Yeah.
about it in episode 14. Let's talk about
Oh,
episode 14.
okay.
So, Revelation. We open in Metropolis where a giant plant emerges and starts causing a ruckus. It's Poison Ivy and the Injustice League. Over at the cave, Batman and the squad discuss the plant attack and the fact that the villains have teamed up. The Injustice League gets on the TV and they demand $10 billion as a
Billion.
ransom to stop the plant attacks, and the plants are hitting a bunch of different major cities. The League handles the plants while the squad is tasked with shutting down the Injustice League. Zatara locates the Injustice League in the Louisiana Bayou. The squad arrives in the bayou and they are immediately attacked by the Injustice League. Miss Martian and Robin move to complete the mission while everybody else ends up being captured. Bioship comes in clutch, allowing the squad to destroy the central control plant, and the Injustice League is a problem. So Aqualad moves to Plan B. He puts on the helmet of fate, and the fight continues. Now that the central battery plant is down, the Justice League arrives, and the fight ends. Joker attempts to kill everybody using Joker Venom, but fate intervenes. Kent Nelson is able to convince Naboo to release Aqualad off screen, and the Light is pleased with how things have gone. That's the episode. So, we see a giant plant thing attacking, and it's Poison Ivy. Are you familiar with Poison Ivy?
Yes, I'm oh,
Aware of
very
her.
aware of her. Yes. She's like just one of those. I feel like a lot of Batman and Superman villains, like big ones, like they just exist enough in popular culture that you're in Poison Ivy's an easy, you're aware of her for
Yeah, like
sure.
she's made enough appearances where it's like, okay,
And
most
she's
people know who she
in
is.
stuff I've watched. She's in Gotham.
Yes, she is.
That one I do remember, guys.
Yeah.
See, I did watch the
And
show.
what's funny, uh, Billy Batson is a child who turns into an adult.
Yep.
And in Gotham, Pamela Isley is a child who turns into an adult.
Yep.
Very different though.
Yeah.
Poison Ivy is usually Dr. Pamela Isley, a botanist, because
Gotcha.
most of Batman's villains are doctors.
Gotcha.
So before we do anything, let's talk through because this episode introduced a bunch of people. And a
Half of
bunch
them
of
didn't
people,
talk too.
yeah, a bunch of people that were just there. So let's talk through who these people were.
Yeah. Okay.
Firstly, we already talked about Poison Ivy.
Yes.
You know who she is, but for those of you who don't know, she is a part of Batman's Rogues Gallery. She calls herself an eco-terrorist. Um, Basically, through experiments and chemicals, she becomes Poison Ivy, allowing her to control plant life. And her powers range depending on the version of her, but yeah, like her whole thing is pheromones. So she will usually like kiss men, and now they're under her control for
Hmm.
a period of time. I, as I've gotten older and looked at, how genders happen in comic books, I don't really like that's how like that
Yeah.
kissing men is how she controls them and all like I started to dislike that. I love the Poison Ivy in Harley Quinn. The Harley Quinn animated show.
Okay.
This is DC animation, so of course I've watched Harley Quinn.
Of
Yeah,
course.
that Poison Ivy is great. I love that Poison Ivy. But yeah, Poison Ivy's been in a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
Um on this show, when I reviewed Batman and Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy was in that movie. And so yeah,
She's been around.
been around. I assume you're familiar with the Joker.
Very, very familiar. Multiple forms
Yeah,
aware of the
most
Joker.
people are aware of the Joker, but for anybody who isn't, the Joker, if this is your first time seeing the Joker, I am
Wow.
surprised. And I have some recommendations for you if this is your first time seeing the Joker. But the Joker is Batman's primary villain.
I
He
was
fell
gonna say
into
he's Batman's Lex.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, the Joker is so popular that's the reference used is that people will say it's this person's Joker.
Yeah.
And moving forward, that's kind of what I will be doing.
Okay.
So um the Joker is probably top three most iconic villains, period. Like across Western everything.
Easily.
Like he's very well known, very popular. He fell into a chemical vat, resulting in his forever smile and his level of crazy.
Yes.
Again, if you ever need to see the Joker, let me know, and I have some recommendations for you so that you will know what kind of crazy we're dealing with.
Very.
Count Vertigo. Count Vertigo, I usually see him associated with Green Arrow and Black Canary. His powers are to cause vertigo. So
Yeah.
he basically disrupts your ability to balance and he like fucks up your inner ear.
Okay.
And that is an enhancement that he was given. So he, I think historically, like he himself has that problem, and then they like implanted him with something where he can cause that problem in others.
Okay.
But there's more to him, but we won't get into all that today. There's Black Adam. Black Adam is Captain Marvel's Joker. Like, so that is his main villain. And usually in a lot of these comic books, the main villain of somebody is just going to be a mirror.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So you could say the same thing about Batman and the Joker, but I feel like most of Batman's villains are a mirror of him in different ways. Like
Hmm.
the way I see a lot of Batman villains is what if Batman dot dot dot.
Yes.
Like the
Okay.
Joker
Yeah.
is what if Batman chose chaos instead of order.
Right.
The Penguin is like what if Batman used his wealth and resources for corruption and crime and all that. Um, there are a lot of different that like
Options. Yeah.
so. Um, anyway, Black Adam is Captain Marvel's Joker, and he gets his powers the same way. He says Shazam, and then he is granted those powers. Like it's literally the evil version of him.
But he says it, and so he
So
also Shazams.
yes, the thing about the thing about Black Adam is he became Black Adam back in like ancient Egypt. So he has been in this form this whole time. He has not changed back to his human form.
Oh.
So if he does, he will immediately melt
Yeah.
because his human
So he's
form
still
is,
aging
yeah,
while
his
he.
human form is like thousands of years old. Yeah,
Okay. I also didn't realize he was a bad guy.
that's probably because you are at least somewhat familiar with the Rock's version
I
of
just
him.
know that movie came out, and I just assumed it was a good guy movie.
That was a safe assumption. It's an anti-hero movie.
Okay.
So, well, actually, I'd call him an anti-villain, not an anti-hero.
Okay.
And that's a concept that, we could talk about, but I feel like how anti-heroes generally do good things but have a skewed moral compass.
Yes.
I feel like anti-villains generally do bad things but have a moral compass.
And that's who Black Adam.
Like, and that's what that version of Black Adam was. There are versions of Black Adam that don't kill just because. But
Okay.
this version of Black Adam is more like, I am a god, I have a superiority complex,
Yeah.
and I will destroy anyone or anything that gets in my way. But Black Adam is selfish in that he will work with whoever benefits him.
Okay.
And usually he's connected to a fictional land of Kondak, which is just kind of in the Middle East. And whatever he needs to do to protect Kondak is what he'll do. So now he's got a little more nuance in that he's not just the Joker of Shazam or the Joker
Hmm.
of Captain Marvel. Like he's got his own stories and his own stuff going on, but
Okay.
he will kind of, work with whoever is beneficial to him and Kondak.
Got it. But yeah, that was a revelation for me today. I was like, the only ever thing I've ever known anything about Black Adam, I was like, oh, there was a movie that came out
Yeah,
that I did
and that's
not
the thing.
watch.
Literally everything else is he is Captain Marvel's main villain.
Okay.
Like
Can
that
I
that is
say
that
though,
is who he is. And the reason he got a movie is because The Rock was involved. And The Rock used his real life star power to try to turn Black Adam into something that he's not.
Fascinating. Hate that. Don't hate The Rock, but I don't like that.
Most people feel that same way.
Like I really enjoy The Rock.
Well,
Don't
that
like that.
that sentiment is literally where a lot of people stand on it.
But on that note, I was gonna say when I saw Black Adam in this, I was like, well, The Rock playing him makes sense
Yeah,
visually, 100%. I was like,
yeah,
I've never seen Black Adam other than The Rock pictures of the posters and stuff. So seeing the animation, I was like, well, yeah.
yeah. And that's why The Rock kept being fan cast as Black Adam because it fits, it matches. Like you see it, and you're like, "Yep,
He just didn't want to be a
that's
bad.
perfect." But yeah, like because of The Rock's, like ego, he was like, "Captain Marvel is too small. I want to fight Superman." So that is,
Well,
yeah,
fine.
yeah. There's some, yeah, and
None of this has
it.
anything to do with the episode. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh no,
I'm
you're good.
just my
I
minimal
think that
knowledge.
I went on this tangent, and I love a sidebar.
I
I
do
love a
too.
tangent. I love to go left a little bit. That's one of the glories of having your own podcast. You can do
Yes,
what you want.
you can.
And so if anybody's mad about this tangent, then they know where to let me know. So, that's Black Adam. The long and short of it is initially Shazam, the wizard who picked Billy to be Captain Marvel, picked Black Adam first, and Black Adam has been abusing the power all this time, which is why he ends up creating Captain Marvel to combat his bad choice, his first bad choice.
He waited thousands of years and was like, okay, this kid.
He had to find somebody pure of heart,
Okay.
and Billy was pure of heart.
Also, then canonically, we have seen someone that has also been Shazammed and waited like 60 years and then they unshazammed themselves and they were old. Like, do we know that for sure?
The No, we do not. Like that has not been a thing.
But we
Um,
just assume if
no,
he unshazams, he's
we
dust.
we have seen that,
Oh,
and I can point you to a previous episode on this podcast
yeah.
where we do see that happen.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll talk about that. But there is a DC showcase. It's a basically a short, so it's like a little 20-minute movie. It's called Superman Shazam: The Return of Black Adam.
Everybody. Okay.
So if you watch that, it should clear that right up for you.
Okay.
So we have Atomic Skull. Atomic Skull is one of Superman's lower tier villains. Multiple people have been Atomic Skull. He can absorb and release nuclear energy. That's Atomic Skull.
So,
Wotan is Dr. Fate's Joker. So
okay.
again, the mirror of him. Wotan has been around since the 40s. Like Wotan's a really old character.
Okay.
Um, but originally Wotan was a woman that was raped up in like the mountains of Scandinavia. And so she became a sorceress and figured out her own reincarnation cycles and has just kind of, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Good for her.
And then Ultra Humanite. What's funny about Ultra Humanite? Ultra Humanite is actually Superman's very first villain.
Oh,
Ultra Humanite was Lex before
what?
Lex.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Unbreakable and
Yes.
Glass, the movie with Brendan or with
Yes.
fucking I said Brendan. I was about to say Brendan Fraser. It's not Brendan
Bruce
Fraser. It's
Willis.
Bruce Willis.
Yes.
Um, so it's that situation. Superman is, big, strong, powerful, and Ultra Humanite, the human version, was, highly intelligent and he had a frail, broken body.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So say okay.
Yeah. And so he ends up, transferring his brain into a gorilla, a albino gorilla.
Okay.
And that's
Oh, okay. That's what that thing was. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it is, yeah, like an intelligent man who transferred his mind into a
Gorilla.
gorilla. And he's got, brain powers. So he's got mental powers, telekinesis, telepathy, those things. But again, he was Lex before Lex because his whole thing was super intelligence and all that. But I think that Unbreakable is based on these two.
Okay.
So,
That makes a lot more sense to me on thing. I know that movie very well.
yes. So, now that we have discussed the Injustice League, which also, um, have I assume you aren't familiar with the Injustice League since the Justice League never happened in Smallville.
Whenever they came together for anything, like there wasn't a league necessarily of bad guy. None of these guys were together. None of these guys were in.
I figured that.
To my knowledge, none of these villains that came up in this episode were ever in Smallville.
Okay. I would I figured Atomic Skull may have showed up at some point just as a villain of the week, but if not, that's fine. But he's in that like tier. Like he's the type of villain that would just show up
Yep.
for an episode
Yeah.
or in a movie for a few minutes and get dealt with, and then we move on.
If
Like
he
you
was
notice he
in
didn't
it,
do a lot in this.
right. If he was in it, he was, it could have been a freak of the week that just wasn't a.
That would have
I
been easy to
Smallville
miss.
loved using different names for things too, or like
Yeah.
using like offhand, like allusions.
Yeah. Or, amalgamations of and yeah.
Yes.
So again, he's the type of villain who like he was probably in like season 3, episode 15. Maybe he shows up again in
Midway
season
through. Yeah.
7, episode 4. Like, yeah, like
Yeah.
it's not even so yeah. Ultra Humanite, I would be surprised if he showed up. But
That he
anyway,
definitely was not.
not a thing.
I think that I would have remembered.
Probably.
There was no massive animal situations that I recall ever.
Because that's the thing, like we've seen 2 gorillas.
Yeah, and I
And
think
it's
that was another thing that confused me going right into episode 14. I was like, wait,
and they're not even my favorite gorilla. Like there's a different
there's
gorilla that's my
another
favorite gorilla.
gorilla.
Yeah.
There's more.
Yeah, there's more. So, anyway, again, I love a sidebar. We have the Injustice League. I don't love that name. I prefer the Legion of Doom. Are you familiar with the Legion of Doom at all?
No, but I was thinking of how just kind of boring the Injustice League was as a Justice League, love that. Injustice League, guys, you're these high tier criminal mastermind villains. The Injustice League?
And so, are you familiar with Injustice? The game, the comic book series through DC, the movie, like
No.
there's okay, so Injustice is an Elseworld story
Okay.
where and I'll go ahead and issue a spoiler warning for this. In Injustice, which is a movie that I have reviewed on this podcast, go listen to it. The Joker tricks Superman into killing Lois Lane and blowing up Metropolis. So, and
Oh.
Lois was pregnant when he did it.
Of course she was.
Yeah.
The
So
heck?
Superman loses it and puts his arm through the Joker and becomes an evil, quote unquote, tyrannical Superman. And there's a whole like storyline that takes place over several years. There's a video game, again, there's a comic book series, there's a movie that shows like the beginning of it. But yeah, so now Injustice League refers to that because that whole universe is called Injustice.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
I will be using Legion of Doom to describe this group.
Okay.
I don't know if Injustice League and Legion of Doom are interchangeable, but the Injustice League and the Legion of Doom all feature villains of Justice League members who have come together to combat the League.
Okay.
And members get swapped in and out all the time. Usually, the Legion of Doom is headed by Lex, and it'll usually have Cheetah in there. Sometimes Black Manta will be in there. Like it has a rotating cast of members. There is a movie, Justice League Doom, where the Legion of Doom is featured. So anyway, I said all of that to say, for the sake of ease, I will be referring to them as the Legion of Doom.
Okay.
Although I do not know if officially the Injustice League and Legion of Doom are interchangeable, but they are, even if they're not. but injustice usually refers to that universe, which is why I don't want to use it for this.
Okay.
So, um, we are taken back to the cave where the squad is talking to Batman, and he's like, here's the situation. These plans have popped up. It's an issue. The villains are working together. We don't like that. So we need to deal with it. And then the Legion of Doom takes over the airwaves, and they basically say, hey, we need $10 billion. And $10 billion in 2011, that's a lot of money.
It's a wild number to just.
Like, we
Ugh,
didn't, I know that there were billionaires, but we didn't talk about billionaires that much.
no.
Like, Bill Gates was kind of the only billionaire we knew
Yeah.
back then. So the fact that they were like $10 billion, back then we were like, who has that kind of
Who's
money?
just got that ready?
Yeah, like, who's got 10 billion? No, that's so much money.
Mm-mm.
Now, $10 billion. Oh, I'll write you a check. But anyway, Batman is obviously a billionaire.
Yes.
He could write the check, but he said it's not going to come to that. So we, the Justice League, are going to stop the plant things because they need to see that that's what we're doing. That way they don't know that y'all are on the way. So we have seen that the villains are not only working together, but they are accounting for what the League is doing. Because in the jailbreak episode, we see that Icicle Sr. is watching the TV to make sure that all of the League members are occupied when he's trying to execute this jailbreak. So we see that the villains are trying to be strategic about where the League is and what they're doing. And because Batman knows that they're doing that, he says, we need to make sure that we are like everybody sees us doing that
Hmm.
because y'all are the underground, black ops missions off the books, the squad in the shadows. That's what y'all are. And we assume that they don't really know about y'all. So if they see us being out here doing all the stuff, because even in the first episode, Flash says that's why we wear these bright colors and these big symbols on our chest, these big targets. That's who we are. That's what we do. And so I love that that is very intentionally being involved here
Yes.
because that's one of the things that isn't really discussed or talked about, I feel like, in superhero things,
Hmm.
is the fact that superheroes take on the burden of being the target.
Yes.
And again, the fact that the villains are paying attention to what our heroes are doing so that, they are being strategic with the moves that they make based on what the people who will stop them are doing. And we see villains use distractions and stuff all the time. But yeah. So they ask for $10 million, and then we see that a bunch of different cities are being hit. So Batman says, we're going to handle that while y'all handle the actual problem. And so they're like, oh, we're being tasked with handling, what he's asking us to do, right? Like, oh, we're being trusted with handling the actual,
Yes, stuff. Yeah. The
okay.
issue.
Do you run these with subtitles?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know anything about Zatara?
Magic.
Okay. Yep.
And Zatara was not Zatara, the other one, the lady one.
Zatanna.
Zatanna was in Smallville a lot.
Okay. Zatara is Zatanna's father.
Yes.
So her name is Zatanna Zatara.
Zatanna Zatara, yeah.
He is Giovanni Zatara.
Okay.
So, yeah, but he goes by Zatara.
But I know their magic
Yes. Do
stuff.
you know how their magic works at all?
No.
Okay. They say stuff backwards.
I have not been paying that much attention to my subtitles, I'll tell you that much.
Okay, so if you go back and watch this episode and then you read the subtitles, you'll see what he's actually saying if you read it backwards.
Interesting.
Because I always knew that that was how Zatanna's powers worked, but like actually seeing the subtitles for it, I was like, ooh, I love it.
That's good work on the subtitling because sometimes I feel like you got poor subtitlers that aren't
There are a
really
lot of times that, yeah, like the subtitles will just say like magic
spell.
chant in quotes, or yeah, just cast spell.
Yeah.
But no, they actually put it in there. And the reason I really know that is because I was like, I wonder if Wotan's powers work the same way. And I don't think they do. Because when I was reading Wotan's subtitles, I was like, that's not,
That's not what's happening.
I can't read that.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'm pretty sure Wotan's powers don't work the same way. But at least Wotan's subtitles, which they actually typed out, were not working that way.
Interesting.
But yeah, and you'll also notice whenever they cast spells, their voice like does like it has a spell casting effect.
Yes.
So they're not. It's not just them talking. Like when they cast a spell, you
It's
know
the
they're casting a
sparkle of
spell.
it.
Yeah, it's got a little echo on it.
Yeah.
Like they undead in the room, and
Yes.
they little reverb in there.
Yes.
I love it. So Zatara locates them with a locator spell, and they're in the swamps. They're in the bayou. And so the squad goes to handle that. And as soon as they arrive, the ship is struggling a little bit because
He's feeling sick.
Count Vertigo, his powers don't only work on people. They work on stuff too.
Yes.
So they will throw off anything. Like if there's a missile headed toward him, he can throw that off. So yeah, like
Convenient.
his power disrupts whatever. And so the ship is going down. Like it's not good. And Black Adam is there. Like so they're just being attacked by the Legion of Doom.
Yes.
And Aqualad calls a play. Hey, Miss Martian, Robin, disappear. Go do what we came here to do. We will, distract these people. And so they go to do that, and you know, everybody ends up in a fight, but they end up getting captured. And one of the things that I thought was hilarious is that Aqualad was like, "You're not the only one who studies the dark arts." And then he tries to break the thing, and it just doesn't work. And Wotan had to be like, "Come on, come on,
You know,
what are you thinking?"
very out of character, I felt like, but also perfect moment. I was just like, okay. You
He had
show
to
one.
try,
He did. He did. I
and
just
I
like the
bet
confidence in the, well, watch this.
I also thought the same thing. I was like, "Clearly, you don't know Wotan." Like
No.
the fact that Wotan hangs with Dr. Fate means that like, Calder, you dropped out of school,
Yes,
to be quite frank.
he did. Didn't get to
So,
that lesson.
yeah. Wotan is not, yeah, like that's not the same weight class, young man. And Wotan, yeah, like Wotan was like, yeah, that's hilarious that you thought you're not in my league, kid. And that's the case. Like, that's 100% true. So, um, all this stuff is happening, and eventually Bioship comes in clutch because things are not looking good for
No.
our heroes. And Bioship comes in clutch, and they are able to destroy the central battery. One of the Joker is the one controlling all of this, and they say to him, like, you're doing a good job controlling all of these things at once. And they, how do you feel about this Joker's vocal performance? Because the Joker is one of those characters that you are allowed to be picky about. Like he's
Well,
like I know that you're picky about your legs, or at least I'm picky about my legs. I might be more picky about my Joker.
I wasn't vibing with this Joker, to be so honest with you. That's one of the notes I did make was I was just like, I don't know about this guy. I wasn't personally feel it wasn't for me. And I think, like you said, it's one of those that you're allowed to be picky about kind of thing. And it's hard when there's so many great versions available to you that it's not so much that you have an idea of how he should sound, but almost more of a how he shouldn't sound to you.
Yeah,
And so it wasn't so much that he wasn't sounding like the Joker. It just wasn't that it was just like,
yeah.
not.
Um, this is the only time I've ever heard this person play the Joker.
Okay.
And like scale of 1 to 10, a 5, in my opinion.
Yeah, like it wasn't the worst thing I ever heard, but I was just like, okay. If you, I have my like, I feel like the Joker too, especially on an animated situation, and I could be wrong on this, but there should be some kind of quality to that vocal performance that if I had my eyes closed and he could say some other stuff, and I should be able to pick out that that's who that is almost
Yeah.
without him ever saying that's who he is.
Yes. I agree. That's actually a really good way to look at it. Like if I close my eyes and just hear a line from him that is unrelated to the fact that he's the Joker, I should be able to be like, the Joker said that.
Yeah.
I don't get that from this
No,
guy. Like,
not a bad vocal performance, just not a Joker vocal performance for me.
I think I'm in the same boat. Like, yeah, I don't think he did a bad job, and I'm pretty sure that he did what he was told to do. Because
Yes.
did he sound like an unhinged, crazy dude?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he did.
100%. It's just not
Just not, yeah,
the Joker kind of
not the
unhinged.
Joker. So, yeah, um, that's why I'm like, it was a 5. Like, it happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I am not surprised that this person has not reprised as the Joker in anything else.
Mm.
And I'm good with that. We got some options where, sir, you can hang that up. So, um, the Legion of Doom is too much for our heroes. Like, they're a problem
Yeah.
because they are heavy hitters. Like, again, we have Poison Ivy, who is a problem. Count Vertigo is really just a like he's oh god, it would be so inconvenient to go against Count Vertigo, especially like if you're anybody, honestly. I think that's why he's a lot of times a Green Arrow villain because
Hmm.
Green Arrow has to have balance and coordination, and
Hmm.
like his whole thing is precision,
Hmm.
and Count Vertigo fucks that up.
I feel like you all don't see my notes that I write out for each of these, but I also feel like I need to apologize to Count Vertigo real quick because my note on him was jokes on him. I'm anemic. I get dizzy regardless, but I'm realizing he's a bit more serious than
He
that.
is.
I
That's
forgot that
funny.
he made the ship sick,
Yeah. Like
and
that's
that's
how we
scary.
open. So yeah, like he again fighting him is really inconvenient.
Yes,
And like he can kill you with it if he like points
really
it at you
wanted
long
to.
enough.
Yeah.
Like he can get you fucked up like permanently.
Hmm.
So yeah. But I think another reason that he's associated with Black Canary is because like his whole thing is like with the inner ear. And so
The whole
she can
thing.
shut
Yeah.
him down
Yeah.
because that canary cry, yeah, you're done.
Knock you out. You
Yeah.
done? Yeah.
And visually they look the same. Like the way that they draw the canary cry happening and the way that they draw the vertigo happening, like
The
like
pulsating
the
little
waves
hands.
and yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, we see that he's got like a little duffel
Yeah.
and it's like, "Hey, what's that?" Plan B.
Can be.
And so Aqualad is like, "It's time for plan B cuz we're losing."
Yeah.
So, he pulls out the helmet of fate and holds it above his head for like 20 minutes before he puts it on. Like,
The drama.
yeah. Because everybody's like, gasp, the helmet
Don't
of fate.
do it. I was
So
right
yeah,
there with, I was like, don't do it. No.
I also was like, oh, Black Doctor Fate. Okay.
Well, no, my, yeah, exactly. Because I was just like, no, you are worthy. Stop it. Don't do it. Because I
And
can't.
that's the thing. I think that they teased us a little bit because they said, you're not the only one who practices the mystic arts.
Yeah. No,
And
they
then
set us up.
Calder puts it on. And so we're like, oh, that's the end of him.
Yeah.
That's the last time we'll ever see him.
Oh, I was so worried.
Because like Naboo, like the whole reason Kent Nelson let Wally go is because like he's a terrible body for you. That's why Clarion was giving him such a problem because Clarion was like, yeah, that body is trash.
Yep.
Like, you're not able to get much done with that body. With Calder's body,
The whole world is available to you
yeah,
now.
like
Ah,
Dr. Fate can get some stuff done in Calder's body
yeah.
as much as he was able to get done in Wally's body, who was a bad match.
Hmm.
So I was like, oh, okay, we lost
Great.
him. That's it.
I'm so
We're never gonna see Aqualad again. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was the first time I watched this. I was not okay for a little bit.
nope.
And so, what were you thinking?
Stress. I think, as we know from our initial episode with Dr. Fate and Nabu, like that thing stresses me the hell out when anybody is near it. So the moment he took it out, and I have probably the softest spot in my heart out of watching this show, like for Calder. I love this guy. And I was like,
I'm sure you're like, oh no,
oh, okay. And I'm like, it happened too when, well, even when Wally was dealing with it, I had just gotten a soft spot for Wally, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, no. And now
because
this, and I was
that's
like,
why
yep,
it's fun. Because uh, Wally was like, yeah, we won. All right, let me out. And Nabu just, no,
no.
the world needs fate.
Yeah. And just Calder's a far more better
Compatible
suited
host.
match.
Yep.
So yeah, I was stressed, and I was like, he thought this through. I get that, but I don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
We're being too
Same.
sacrificial right now, my guy.
And the first time I watched this, I didn't know how many episodes this season was going to be. So
Oh,
14, we were at 14. So I was like, is this the
is
season
this it?
finale?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? I, I, I was
Listen.
not okay. And so, the
Mm-mm.
fight continues because you see Wotan is like, oh, you're, you're, you're my Batman. All right,
Let's do
let's
this.
go.
Yep.
And so, they start fighting and yeah. Anyway, the League arrives because the central plant is down. So now the League isn't like the League can show up because we don't see what happens, but like
Hmm.
Robin blows up the big plant and we see that, Poison Ivy is hurt
Yes.
when this happens because Poison Ivy is very much a I love plants, humans can go die today.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the League arrives and the fight is over. They surrender, except for the Joker, of course.
Naturally.
And so the Joker's like, "No, we all no. We're not done here." Cuz yeah, they're like, I guess we'll wait to fight another day." Another day. There won't be another
This
day.
is the only day.
And so yeah, and then Dr. Fate handles it immediately. It's like,
Yeah.
"Well,
All right, and
yep,
that's how you go.
fate has intervened and we're done here." And so, uh, we see Wally's like, well, Calder's gone forever.
Yep.
We're never going to see him again because Wally understands.
Yes, he
Like,
knows exactly what's going on in there.
yeah. So Wally is like, Wally's shooketh.
Yep.
And then he just takes the helmet off. And Wally's
So
like,
casually.
yeah. Wally's like, oh my God.
I was too. I
How,
also was like,
how did Naboo let you go?
yeah.
It's like, your friend Kent really made a case for me.
Kid's
But,
tired of these boys.
maybe.
I
Or
would
Kent,
be.
Kent loves them enough to not.
Loves them, but also is like,
I think that Kent would be okay with Calder being in there.
oh, yeah,
Like
but
they'd have a good time. But
ugh, I wouldn't.
yeah.
Let me
So
have Keldor out here.
yes, we almost lost Calder once.
Don't
Can't do it again.
know.
So and we don't even see that conversation. It's just off screen that
Just a little aside. Yeah,
yeah.
Kid got me out. Don't worry.
And then we see the light. The light basically says, yes, our decoys worked. They now think that we have been defeated.
Hmm.
And we actually see who these disembodied voices are.
Yes.
We see some of the characters that, are in the light. Who did you recognize?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I watched this one twice too. Because
Hmm.
the first watch through, I was just unsurprisingly, oh my gosh, legs.
Yep.
And that's all I cared about.
I knew that's what was gonna happen.
I
Because
am.
and they showed him last, so I'm sure you're like, ooh.
Yeah, that's all I cared about. I was just like, oh yeah, because I was just like, oh, the light, and then it was like, Alexander, what are you doing here? But then saw that creepy witch boy kid thing.
Hmm.
Um, and the brain thing was there, and that went poof. And I'm sure, here's the thing, guys, I'm trying to retain so much of this in a very short amount of time.
There's
There
a
are
lot
other
of it.
faces that I recognize. I could not tell you their names.
That's fine. There's a lot happening here.
Yes.
So I will not tell you who anybody is that you don't already know because obviously we're going to see them some more and
Later on.
later.
Yeah.
So I'll just leave it at that. But if there was anybody you had questions about, then I could tell you who they are, but I wasn't going to go too far into it.
I might need a third rewatch to even look at that because like I said, first watch I just retained that Lex was there, and then that next watch through again saw because that kid
Clarion, the
uh,
witch boy. Yeah,
yeah,
you are correct not to like him.
yeah.
Like
Anytime I see him, I'm like, ugh.
that is the correct way to feel.
And then just because the brain was so recent, that was an easy thing to retain on seeing that again too.
Yeah.
But I know there were a lot, and it's just,
And that's the thing, like
you know,
now that you've seen these people, if you were to go back and watch the episodes where the disembodied voice talks back, you'd be able to be like, "Oh, I know who
that's
that
so
is. Like that's this person."
hmm.
So, yeah. And we'll just keep watching
Yes.
and see what happens.
Yes.
But the light has basically been like, "Yes, we have successfully, you know, uh hit them with the okey doke. Like
Mhm.
we were able to, move their attention over here. They think that we're gone, so we can continue our operation." So, how do we feel about these episodes?
Decent time. To call back to episode 13 and then going into 14, on whether or not the Justice League knows about Captain Marvel.
Okay.
I wanted to almost say no because of in episode 14, he clearly wants to go with the kids. And they're like, come with us.
You
You're
you got
part of our
you got shit to
crew.
do. And
So
the
that one,
entire league needs to be seen.
yeah. Which that could still go either way for me almost of like I could see Batman being like, hey, I know you want to go with them. But so it's just a hard, I don't know. I don't know this dynamic well enough yet. And I don't know how much more he's even in it. Because I did go look him up. I did look this one up because I could recognize the voice while I was listening to it and I wanted to figure out who it was.
Okay.
Um, shout out Rob Lowe.
I know you
But
love a Rob Lowe.
I like a Rob Lowe like that's a recognizable voice. When I was like, it's like I know this voice.
Yeah. And same, like whenever I heard him, I was like, "Oh shit,
Yeah,
Rob Lowe."
that's such a that was
Like,
a
'cause I
I
just
feel
kept
like
hearing him say, "And Perkins."
yes, that's exactly.
Yeah, it was
I
that Rob Lowe.
yeah, very much great voice. I love when there's and you've shown me this through watching some of these other movies and stuff. To me, because I don't watch a lot of animated things, sometimes when you get someone like Rob Lowe or something, I'm like, that feels so miscellaneous. Like, what?
Yeah. Because yeah, like it almost feels like there are a lot of people. It's like they're too big for this,
Yeah, and like that's what Rob Lowe like. And I
but it's
know,
like, but you love to hear it,
love to hear
and
it.
you also have to keep in mind that this show is old now.
Yes, because that's the other thing of just some of them. And then also, because I feel
Because
like Rob Lowe since then had gotten, like Rob Lowe was really popular, had a lull, and then was popular again. And I
hmm
feel like this was in the in between almost.
yeah,
But also Alyssa Milano was Poison Ivy, and I was like, I know who that one is. I haven't known who
love
some of
Alyssa
these
Milano,
guest stars have been in a minute.
love Alyssa Milano.
Loved her on that. She's great for that. But
Yep.
anyway, my overall thoughts on these episodes, they weren't my favorite episodes.
I would imagine they were overwhelming.
Well, for sure episode 14, I there were so many people that I could not keep track of who was I supposed to know. I might have gotten too distracted by the whole Black Adam thing really threw me through a loop because I had one perception in my head. But no, there was just a lot of people, even with the scenes with the Justice League fighting stuff. Like there were so many people that didn't have any lines at all. And I'm like, who the heck are you?
Yeah.
I
Because
don't know.
of the Injustice League, Count Vertigo did some talking,
Yeah.
Poison Ivy did some talking, the Joker did some talking, and Wotan, I mean, a little bit, but like the other
Mhm.
one, like I don't know if Ultra Humanite or Atomic Skull said anything.
I don't think so.
I feel like they did not.
So it's just
Oh,
a
and
lot
Black
of
Adam. I don't know if Black Adam said anything.
you're just there.
Yeah, like he's the muscle.
Yeah. So it was just a lot of
But
here's new
also,
people.
these people were literally just puppets for the light.
Right.
So even though these were some heavy hitters, which is one of the things that Robin says, it's like these are all heavy hitters. They're not even.
Yeah.
Like that's what the best part is this squad looks intimidating and
They're being controlled.
they're not even at the highest
No.
tier of villains on Earth.
No.
So we kind of saw like the, the actual council that is
Yes.
the
The
Illuminati, the one that's actually
yeah.
pulling the strings.
Which I like that concept of you think these guys are bad? Just
Just
wait.
wait.
Now, and I really did appreciate that concept when it had the reveal. Just again, I know I was blinded, but just even with the reveal of Lex at the end of it and stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, that's one of those guys that's just you know is oh, he's just so smart and is always gonna be.
You know he's at that highest level.
Yeah, and it was still a fantastic reveal, even though, not gonna lie, the whole light thing when I was like, okay, these are a bunch of bad guys, obviously. And I was like, I know Lex is probably gonna be in it, but even the reveal, I was like, ah, there he is.
Because the thing, it was nice to actually
Yeah.
know
Mhm.
because we get it's teased earlier
Yes.
because you remember him and Raish,
Yes.
they had their little thing. But yeah, like it's you never know who's actually got a seat at the table and who's
Right.
just like involved because we've seen a bunch of people report back to the light, but knowing who is reporting to the light and who is the light, like those like that's it's good to know that Lex is at the table
Yes.
as opposed to just in communication or in cahoots because there are depending on the situation sometimes Lex is working for somebody whenever we're dealing with like otherworldly.
Oh, okay. I was like, on this world though, I would
Yeah,
hate
but like because whenever
that.
we're dealing with aliens sometimes Lex is an employee,
That sense,
but
understandable.
that's because we're dealing like
Yeah.
we're getting off Earth. On Earth
Lex is
Lex is usually at the table.
yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, I would agree that it was a lot of overwhelming, especially in, like I said, episode 14. Just, I was like, there's so much happening, so many people happening. Not for lack of them being good episodes, obviously, but I was just like, and then also, we just know I get stressed out whenever you bring out Dr. Fate and then you brought it together with Calder. And I was like, I hate that.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yep. That was on
Yeah.
purpose.
Ugh, gross.
So cool.
Yeah.
Anything else on these episodes?
I think I've said my piece on them.
Okay. The only thing that I will say
Mm.
is, since they were in the bayou, whenever they had to like swim,
Hmm.
I was like, oh, I know that water is murky.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm sure that Aqualad was okay, but like,
That
yeah, I know the
wasn't
water
a good
was
time.
murky.
Yeah, that was icky for sure.
But, all right, in the next episode, we will be discussing season one, episodes 15 and 16. So until then, salutations.